Good evening, distinguished colleagues and participants. Welcome to the session 5 of the SFI Channel Club. It is a pleasure to have you join us from different locations. As many of you know, SFI is committed to developing diverse, high quality capacity building programs, including monitoring, scientific training, research skills, development, and leadership. Development and leadership formation, its mission is to raise the next generation of African scientists, researchers, and leaders who will shape the future of the continent and beyond. In line with this mission, we gather today to explore a deeply reflective and practical article, Professor Bright Nwaru's The Art of Career Timing, Time and Timing, the Condition of Kairos. This session is also particularly special as it continues our discussion and reflection on Professor Nwaru Career Navigator series. It is an honor to warmly welcome Professor Bright Nwaru, the founder of SFI and the author of the article. He is the author of the article we are exploring. We are truly privileged to have him with us today. Many of us have asked ourselves at some point in our careers, how do career-defining moments arise? Are they luck, chance, or sudden opportunity? Prof. Nwaru shows that they are none of these. Kairos is not random. It is moments that emerge when years of preparation, relationships, alignment, courage, and timing converge. When who we have become meets what the moment requires. The key inside Kairos is ecological. It grows out of multiple interconnected conditions that we intentionally cultivate over time. Today, we will examine these conditions, reflect on how they appear in our own journeys, and discuss ways to intentionally build the environment that allows Kairos moments to emerge. Prof. Nwaru identifies 7 interrelated conditions that shape Kairos. These conditions interact like an ecosystem. When even one is weak, the moment may be missed. 1. Mentorship and guidance. Mentors bless us near opportunities and provide guidance, encouragement, and advocacy. They strengthen discernment and confidence, but do not guarantee success. 2. Networks and relationships. Many life-changing opportunities are not formally announced. Relationships create context where others can see, remember, and recognize that alignment. Authentic relationships require time. Authentic relationships require time, effort, and trust, but they amplify readiness for Kairos. Persistence and preparation, chronos. Behind every lucky break is long-term discipline effort. Preparation builds internal coherence, allowing confident and swift action when opportunities appear. 4. Alignment and personal needs. Career moments cannot be separated from personal life, from values and emotional well-being. With alignment may even awaken clarity, prompting courageous decisions. Recognizing Kairos requires balancing professional and personal alignment. Openness to ordinary events. This is the 5th one. Kairos often arrives through routine or ordinary interaction. a casual email, brief conversation, and subtle suggestion. Attentiveness and reflection are essential to recognize the significance of these moments. 6, courage and risk. Recognition alone is insufficient. Action is necessary. Courage involves stepping into uncertainty, taking reputational, emotional, or relational risk. Inaction carries hidden cost, stagnation, regret, or erosion of conviction. 7, institutional timing. Opportunities are shaped by institutional rhythms, funding cycles, and strategic priorities. These strategic priorities help to have this support. Alignment between personal readiness and institutional openness allows Kairos to emerge. The current site, Kairos equals readiness times opportunity. In other words, the right moment arises when preparation meets the right chance. Kairos is cultivated, not simply waited for. Years of preparation, investment in relationships, alignment with your goals, and courage will all combine to create career-defining moments. Our session today objectives are that by the end of this session, participants will understand the 7 conditions shaping Kairos. Reflect on how these conditions have influenced their own journeys. Identify which conditions are strongest and weakest in their environment. Explore how individuals and institutions can cultivate Kairos. Commit to practical steps that strengthen their personal ecology of timing. Without further delay, let us begin today's discussion. We have breakout sessions for 30 minutes. We will now move to this breakout rooms. Each group will focus on the reflection question that were shared with you in advance, that we will be sharing with you in advance. This is your opportunity to share perspectives, explore ideas, and reflect on the topic together. Within your group, please appoint a note taker to capture the key ideas and insight from your discussion. A reporter to present your group's and highlights their insight when returned to the main session. Remember, there are no right or wrong answer. This is the chance to learn from each other. You will have 30 minutes for this activity. We now invite Group A to share their discussion on personal reflections, including the Kairos moment they identified, whether those moments appeared ordinary or extraordinary, and which condition shaped them most strongly. Group A, the floor is yours.
Okay, thanks, Dr. Nezla. Good evening to everybody. Yeah, in fact, in my group, there were various moments that were shared, Kairos moments that were shared. I can maybe also just talk about the 3 of them. I think, or 4. Yeah, I think there are 3. Yeah. Then the first one was when some of my colleagues, they said that now when they won the funding grant, then to them it was really the Kairos moment, because it changed everything. And also there were some of us who talked about when they got their PhD, and also one when he got, for instance, rated, whereby now his research output was rated. Then it was such a great moment. And also was that ordinary or extraordinary? I think all of my colleagues, they said that no, that was an extraordinary moment for them because it, in a way, changed. It opens some doors, and it also changed everything. Then the conditions that shaped it most strongly, I think the conditions, it went from being committed to the cause, discipline in terms of what one is doing. Definitely, those aspects, they were in a way the ones that made them to get what they were they wanted to achieve. And some of the conditions that they felt were weakest in the environment. My colleagues also shared the fact that sometimes you will find that when one maybe is working within a group, and now at the start of that moment, you'll find that every people are committed, but as the time goes on, there will be some the interest or the I think the interest just wanes away, whereby you find that now you don't achieve what you wanted to achieve. Yeah, I think that's what we can say as a group A. I'm not so sure if maybe there's anyone who wants to add from my group members. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dumusani and Group A, for your thoughtful reflection. We appreciate the clarity and depth you brought to your discussion. Thank you so much. We will now move to Group B. Please go ahead and share the key points you discussed.
Okay, all right. So we had for the first question, what condition appears most consistently important in your experience? What resonated in our group was that network and relationship resonated. That was kind of important to almost all of us in the group. Then which condition tend to be underdeveloped in your context? And it was mentorship and guidance. That was similarly lacking for most of us. And then how do the conditions interact? What we found that was that, yes, it amplifies one another. Someone says that courage and risk amplified is network and relationship, the ability to take courage. And someone says being open to seemingly ordinary events also helped out in a network and relationship. So who is better positioned to strengthen these conditions, individuals or institutions? This was where we had the debate. Incidentally, we found that the men preferred that institutions take responsibility. And then the women preferred that the individuals or both take responsibility. So the thing there was now, okay, so who is better positioned? And I guess we have to hone down on one, and then the institution seems to be the one chosen to bear the responsibility that yes, individuals have to take responsibility, but that structures should also be in place to also encourage and to guide individuals in their career path. So that's what we have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Group B, for those insightful contribution and the important angles you highlighted. Let us now hear from Group C. Please share your main reflection with us. Group C, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you so much. So we looked at the question was how can institutions support the ecology of Kairos? So we were able to make some deliberations. We found that short-term assessments, to know the opportunities taken advantage of by staff would help institutions in supporting ecology of Kairos. In most tertiary institutions, we find out that assessments are usually done every promotion year, usually 3 years, after every 3 years. So when these assessments are, done on a short-term basis, let's say 2 to 3 months, it would help to support the ecology of Kairos. Also, when there is deliberate reward systems beyond the normal, when there are short-term reward systems, it would also support the ecology of Kairos. Also, when institutions finance workshops, aimed at exposing staff and students to the knowledge of Kairos, just like we'll be doing soon via the quintet programs. When institutions, support in terms of sponsoring these programs, they will see that the ecology of Kairos would be improved. Question 2 says, which policies or norms help or hinder timing and readiness? When there are reward policies, it will help timing and readiness when people know, when staff know that they have a reward, when they're able to, get a grant, when they're able to, acquire fellowship, opportunities, in as much as it is for their own personal benefit, when they know that their institutions would also commend them by way of gifting them, it would also improve their ecology of Kairos. Also, on the other hand, when there is lack of motivation from institutions, it would hinder timing and readiness. For instance, when there are policies like these bond policies that hinder staff from moving forward, from making progress after they've been sponsored by their institution, we see that it hinders um, Kairos, because when you know that it doesn't matter how much progress you make, you're not moving beyond here because you're serving a bond, it will not really motivate staff to take advantage of Kairos. Question 3 says, what practical actions can institutions take to cultivate Kairos moments? I already talked about reward policies, which will help timing. All right, there should be institutional motivations, right? So there should also be subsidizing of cost of research, by institutions. There could be an understanding with some top journals, high impact factor journals on an institution basis, that when our staff are publishing with you, in terms of cost, we are going to maybe 50%. This would also motivate Kairos ecology. Also, promotion of interdisciplinary research groups within institutions, when they are monitored, it will improve. Finally, how can mentoring, networking, and institutional timing be improved? We were able to see that when there's a structured mentorship programs, for instance, when you pair, you don't just come to say that you have to mentor professors, mentor upcoming scholars. No, there should be a conscious effort by pairing them. All right, pairing mentors with mentees based on their interests, based on goals or research areas. It will really motivate, just like what we are doing here. The other day I was asking Dr. Jibola if there are people in my area, so that I would collaborate. First of all, you begin from the known to the unknown. So this kind of collaborations, structured mentorship, would boost taking advantage of Kairos. Also, networking. When we organize more workshops, conferences, seminars using digital platforms, it will help to boost networking. Finally, amongst institutions, exchange programs, when there are also early access to scholarships, okay, research projects, internships, okay, it will really help. So, but when institutions also reduce delays on admission, most times you apply for something, maybe you apply for your institution to grant you the permission to go for a training, and they delay their approval. It doesn't really improve or support the ecology of Cairo. So we are saying that
Sorry, please, someone mic is on, please. Sorry, our presenter. Okay, you can continue. Thank you.
So I was just rounding off. I was just saying, because we were asked how we could, how mentoring, networking, and institutional timing can be improved. So we agreed that number one, there has to be structured mentorship programs, deliberate acts of connecting mentors to mentees based on their interests, their goals, or their research areas. Also, institutions should organize more workshops, conferences, seminars using digital, just like what ASFI is doing right now and what our quintet programs will do in their various institutions. These are avenues for Kairos ecology to be improved. And then finally, there should be exchange programs amongst institutions. Also, there should be early access to opportunities like scholarships, right? Research projects, internships, and that way it will boost the ecology of Kairos. On the other hand, institutions should reduce delays when it comes to giving approvals or giving admissions or supervising projects so as not to dampen the spirit of Kairos that is all about taking advantage of time. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Group C, for your valuable input and the perspective you added to the discussion. With all the three groups now complete, we now move to a brief census. Thank you to all three groups for your thoughtful contribution. When we bring your discussion together, we see a clear and integrated picture of how Kairos emerges. Group A remind us that Kairos often begins at the personal level, sometimes from moments that appear simple or ordinary, but become meaningful depending on which conditions are present or missing. Group B deepened this in understanding by showing how the conditions interact, how certain ones consistently matter more, and how weaker condition can limit the ability to recognize or act on Kairos. Group C highlighted the essential institutional dimension, demonstrating that policies, norms, and support systems play a major role in either enabling or constraining Kairos and offering practical actions that an institution can take. Taken together, the census shows that Kairos is not accidental. It arises when prepared individuals meet supportive environment at the right time, strengthening both personal readiness and institutional conditions allows Kairos moments to emerge more and often and more effectively. Thank you all for your excellent engagement in the session. And we now invite our professor. Actually, you can open the floor if anyone that want to share any perspective. And after that, we invite our professor to share us his expertise and his insightful comments. Please, anyone want to add anything for from the audience? Thank you so much. Professor Bright, you are welcome. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Najla, and thank you, everyone, for sharing your insights on this particular paper. Well, I would say that all the papers are important, very, very important. But this particular one is exceptionally important for obvious reasons, particularly because many of us have not realized the importance of these conditions or contexts that were illustrated in this paper. It is important to still emphasize, Dr. Nejla has mentioned it several times during her presentation, introductory presentation, and during this concluding synthesis, that Kairos is not accidental. It's not luck. It's not a chance. All right. And that is what this paper tried to highlight, that it is embedded in some conditions that fertilize it. Meaning, there are certain conditions that we breed Kairos. And so it is very important to take advantage of those conditions and do whatever that is required to make those conditions present in your own career. Well, when that happens, Kairos, of course, you have to then develop vigilance and discernment. When that happens, Kairos will become manifest. You will see it. In fact, I think I started early to actually cultivate these conditions. I started to cultivate them. And in my own career, what happens nowadays is that Kairos happens much more often than I would have thought. Why? Because those conditions are in place. Those conditions are in place. And they just happen. They just happen like that. So it is important to clarify this point, because Kairos is not a phenomenon where you put your hands in your pocket and you're waiting at the door. I tell you, you will wait through all the seasons: winter, spring, summer, autumn, and the cycle continues again. And it doesn't appear. Like the postman. Until you shut the door, you go back. There are things you have to do. And that is what this paper emphasizes. And that is why it is exceptionally important of the 8 papers for you as a career person to take inventory of where you are with each of those conditions. But before I round up the things I want to push forward before we go, I want to know, just be sincere, how many people here have read this particular paper, read it from beginning to the end? If you can just help me raise your digital hand. How many people have read this paper from beginning to the end, this particular one? This is paper number 6. Yeah, I see 2 hands. I see 3. Okay. I see only 3 hands of, well, let me remove myself. Of the 20 persons here, only 3 have read it from beginning to the end. Well, okay, that is fine. But I will encourage you to go and read it again. Read it again. Those who have read it, you can read it again. But you have not read it from beginning to the end, please find time. If this week, find time to do it, because it is crucial. You know, today I was just there and I got a call, very strange call. I got a very strange call. And this call didn't come to my phone. It came to my team's computer. And this is a call internally from my university. So I didn't know who was calling, but I picked it. And the other side, I was hearing this voice. I was asking who is speaking. And the person mentioned her name. And the person said, "You don't know me. We have not met before." I said, "Okay. So what do you want?" So, well, I have my supervisor. I am from Nigeria. We actually 2. My supervisor has been pushing us to reach out to you. I said, okay, so what do you want? Well, she said we should just come and see you. Maybe you can offer us some mentorship and all that. I said, okay, let's plan to meet. All right, let's plan to meet. And this is the way we work it out here. This is the way we work it out here. And this, their supervisor actually knows what I am doing with ASFI. And this supervisor, her thinking is, I think this African student would be good to integrate them into ASFI. This will be helpful to them. All right. And then after that, I just got a pop-up on my LinkedIn. Then I checked my LinkedIn and I saw another message, a private message somebody sent to me. I don't know him. And the person said, I was at an event with mentioned my former boss at Oxford. And this person who is writing me now is from Nigeria. And your previous boss actually said I should reach out to you. And he said a lot of things about you, as I should reach out to you for mentorship. I've not replied him. I've not replied him. I will reply him. But many people do not realize the role of mentorship in making the next step or the next steps in your career. Many don't realize. I opened up opportunity for the 510 candidates to have one-on-one. Okay. I don't think it was up to 160 of them that signed up. Although I saw that some mentee pals sneaked in and signed up, but I accepted them. Okay. If you have something, no problem. I accepted them on one-on-one. And I had a couple of sessions today. And one of them in that session was so excited because that window of 1 hour we spent changed a lot of things in her perspective. Put out, in fact, our session ended and then she was entering an interview for a postdoc interview. So she used part of the mentorship session way to really ask me, because her postdoc the interview was on a group in Europe here, to understand, this is the message I received from them. What does it mean? What can I respond in this message? What will be my posture? What do they think? And then we begin to discuss the career strategies. All right. But I asked her, how many of these papers have you read? She has not read so much. I said, you need to read these Kairos moment papers because opportunities will always come. But it is not opportunities you're looking for. You're looking for the right opportunity. The opportunity that is yours. The opportunity that is meant for you. You need to look for those opportunities. All right? Because many things will fly. Excitement will come. But there is an opportunity that is yours. And it is the conditions that you have cultivated that make you grasp those opportunities. And so in that interview, you're going for that interview as you're speaking, there's an alignment. On that person on the other side of the computer, and there's an alignment that is already occurring because those conditions have been set in place to cultivate that opportunity. So, colleagues, I'm talking a lot, but I just want to let you know the importance of reading this paper and the importance of you intentionally working on those conditions that fertilize Kairos. Dr. Nejla mentioned some of this, those conditions. There are 7 of them I discussed in the paper. There may be others, but in those papers, I used my experience, and these were the 7 I took note of. Mentorship and guidance, which I've mentioned, which is the number 1 there. Networks and relationships. The second mentorship meeting one-on-one I had today, this person was asking me about my productivity. This person was asking me. This person is telling me, I went to your research gate. I checked your profile. I was surprised. Your productivity. I want to know how did you get there? I said, well, I don't think about productivity. I don't think about publishing this number of papers. I don't think about getting this number of grants. No, no, no. That doesn't occupy my mind. I live my life as normal, but I am focused. I plan, I execute, and every other thing takes their shape. But one thing that you will not run away from is the importance of fruitful networking and relationships. Without going into it to benefit, to grasp something, build fruitful networks and relationships. Some of the papers, I was telling the person that you see there, I don't do so much because the work has been done already to build networks that are productive. You have to be intentional about it. It's not something you start and then after 3 months, no paper is coming, and then you say, well, I don't think. Then you jump to another one. You will jump to many places. You have to be intentional to take time to build this. This is important. This is the second condition to discuss here, and then persistence and preparation. Sometime I think some of you have heard what I used to say, the wilderness experience. Be in the wilderness experience. I remember when I was doing my PhD, some of the things I teach today, some of the skills I do today, I teach today. You talk about systematic reviews, data analysis, programming, and all those. Those were during my PhD. In fact, after my PhD and some time in my postdoc, once I started taking up students, master's students, medical students, PhD students, I don't do those things anymore. It is those who work with me that are doing it. But you see, persistence and preparation, you need to do them at the right time. You need to prepare at the right time so that Kairos can reward you at the appropriate time. Otherwise, you will not be ready for those opportunities. In fact, when those opportunities come, you would think they are not meant for you. Not that they're not meant for you, but you did not get yourself ready for them, and they pass by. Many of us are focused so much on the output of the scientific journey and not on the the seeds you plant to get those outputs, and that can take time. The third one is alignment with personal needs. Yes, it's important. And one of the things I mentioned to this person today is, my goodness, you have to be sensitive and take responsibility for other things that surround your life, whether it's career, whether it's your family, whether it's your faith, whether it's your relationship with others. All those are part of your life. They are one package. Sometimes many of us, prioritize, say, well, my career is so important to me. So no, don't let other things suffer because you're pursuing your career. There should be balance in in building your career. And I tell you, it yields more fruitful result because you become a whole. Openness to ordinary events. Openness is very important. Openness is very important. This openness is not just staying somewhere and watching. No, no, no. You know, life can come with so many surprises. All right. Sometimes it may be failure. It may be struggles. It may be like there's a blockade. All right. You then need to be in a place where you accept every circumstance that comes to you, open to them. And then once you open to them, you will find way to handle them. That is what the openness is there. Vigilance, discernment, and acceptance of the situations that come, and that will give you opportunity to find solution towards them. Courage and risk, yes. Kairos is a mysterious phenomenon sometime that can shake you. That you will not you think about your comfort. Where do you think I should live? So it requires an extraordinary courage, risk taking to venture to say, this is mine, this is my time, I move on. I will take it without really overthinking the consequences because you have realized that it has been made for you. That is a condition for Kairos, and of course, institutional timing. And that is one of the things some of you focus so much in your analysis about the institution. You see, the other things I've mentioned now, there are 7 of them. The other things I've mentioned now are not necessarily institutional issues. They are not necessarily. Institution can contribute to each of those, but you have your personal contribution you need to make to prepare for the Kairos time. You have your personal contribution. I just wanted to just rephrase that, but I will encourage you, colleagues, to take time to read that paper. Read that paper. I tell you, it will make a lot of difference in the way you think. But to conclude here, I just want to rephrase this Louis Pasteur quote I use in that paper. Fortune favors the prepared mind. And this really captures what this paper is focusing. Fortune favors the prepared mind. All right? So without preparation, he's saying that fortune may elude you. Okay. So lessons on the ecology of Kairos. So these conditions, I have used the terminology ecology, the context of Kairos. Kairos is fundamentally relational. So please work on your networks and collaboration. Make them fruitful. Let there be trust that comes out of that. And so that in the next stage, this guy who wrote me on LinkedIn, that my boss, who is in Oxford now, I officially worked with him. I ended when I moved to Edinburgh almost 10 years ago. I ended that, okay? Although we have continued to collaborate, we have continued. The collaboration is there, but officially I ended. And so you need to build relationships that can still crystallize Kairos for you, even in the future. Even when perhaps formally those relationships have ended, but because you have built them on a solid rock, they can still yield Kairos moments for you. Kairos is fundamentally relational. Kairos is built on persistence in Chronos. This aspect is what many of us do not take time to do. And that is why I was saying that some of us are looking for the fruits and not planting the seeds. Many of you have spent years with ASFI. Many of you have spent years in SFI. And perhaps if you open the window here to say people who are beginning to see their Kairos by being patient with what ASFI has been doing. I know that some of you here will raise your hand to speak to that. That yes. So you need to be persistent. Don't jump in and jump out. Be persistent. And I tell you, with time, you begin to see manifestation of the preparation, the persistence in preparation you have made over the years. So please be persistent in chronos. That is the ordinary time, the passage of time. Kairos is sharpened by discomfort and misalignment. Yes, I tell you, failure is an essential ingredient in our performance and in the journey of excellence. Failure. So misalignment, when things don't align, when things go wrong, the discomfort that comes from that can sharpen our discernment, our vigilance to now reformulate our journey. Kairos is sharpened by discomfort and misalignment. Kairos often hides in the ordinary. Yep. Dr. Nejla mentioned some of the things there. Email, ordinary email, a phone call, invitation. It often hides in the ordinary. And so when you judge things just by looking, if you are kind of person, you judge things just by looking. When you look, you may not look deeper. Don't judge only by the external appearance, because it often hides in the ordinary. Of course, how else can it come apart from the ordinary? But those whose Kairos time it is recognize the extraordinary in the ordinary. That is what Kairos shapes. Kairos, I'm not sure why I'm using this. Kairos requires openness and courage. I've mentioned that. And then there is need for us to cultivate Kairos conditions. I'll just read through. This is a quote in the concluding part of the paper. Career-defining moments do not arise from vigilance alone. Vigilance is important, but not alone. They emerge from lives arranged in ways that make opportunity visible, credible, and actionable. My goodness, this is powerful. I don't know how else I can say it, but you need to arrange your life in a way that make opportunity visible, credible, and actionable. They are rooted in long preparation, in relationships, in personal struggle. Somebody's mic is disturbing. Who is that? Rachel, I have removed you in the meeting before, but it looks like you keep disturbing us with your mic. They are rooted in long preparation, in relationships, in personal struggle, and openness to interruption. Colleagues, building a career is not a child's play. It's not a child's play. And it doesn't matter where you are in the world. While timing itself remains elusive and partly beyond control, responsibility lies in how one inhabits the long stretches of chronos. All right, responsibility lies in how one inhabits long stretches of chronos. In sum, a Kairos-shaped career is not about chasing exceptional moments, but about building an ecology of readiness in which preparation and possibility can meet. There is no other way to summarize it. And I want to encourage you, please, prepare for the time that is yours. Prepare for it. Prepare for it. In capacity building, sharpening your mind, be open-minded, build their networks and collaborations. Build their network and collaborations. And I believe that we'll be happy as we journey on. Thank you very much, Dr. Nejila. I am happy to address any question.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, our professor, for sharing your expertise and such wonderful insights. We deeply appreciate your continued support and guidance. Reflection and action commitment, building on this foundation and all this guidance. We ask ourselves silently to complete one action I will take in the next months to strengthen my ecology of Kairos is complete it and see if it is initiate a monitoring relationship, is it reconnect with networks, say yes to a small opportunity, realign priorities, exercise courage in an abandoning decision, or can be more than one. Kairos moments do not appear randomly. They emerge where preparation, relationship, courage, alignment, and timing intersect. Our task is not to chase these moments, but to cultivate the ecology that allows them to flourish. Thank you very much for your engagement. May your next Kairos moment find you fully ready. Our next session, April session 6, we will examine the 7th article in the Kairos series to further deepen our collective understanding of career timing, development, and leadership. Thank you so much for this participation and this engagement. And you are our family, you are our people. Without you, we cannot do anything. Thank you so much, our professor. Thank you, our leaders. Thank you so much, our colleagues and audience. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you and have a good night.
Good night. Bye.
Thank you very much, Cheledi. Thank you, my president, and good night to everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, Prof. Bright.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.